I started to lose my hair in 2002, and that hair loss keep progressing until 2008 when I actually decided to do something about it. And to begin with, my hair loss was quite slow, right? But basically, what happened is that as time went by, it got keep getting worse and more progressive, and I got to the point I was almost completely bald. And I remember during those years, especially in 2007, 2008, I tried to hide it. I tried to mask away my hair loss for many years, and basically the more hair I was losing, the more creative I become. But I got to the point where there was almost nothing of the hair on my scalp left to actually be able to hide it anymore. And I remember back in around 2007, in the beginning of 2008, what happened is that if I would have a conversation with a girl, what will happen is that she would, let's say, have a conversation with me for with 20, 30 seconds, and then she would start to look at my hair, and all her focus would be on my hair. And I remember that it made me so insecure. It made me that I would lose all my confidence. And at that point, basically, what happened is that 80% of time I was occupying my mind about my hair loss. And I got to the point where basically there was two options, like either shave it all off or actually do something about my hair situation. And I decided to do something about it, and as you can see, it was a wise choice because now I have full stock hair. And when it comes to the hair loss, like what you need to define is it why you are actually losing the hair. Like you have to find out the cause of your hair loss, and that is the most important step. And when you have found out the reason you're losing the hair, then you need to find out the best approach to address it. And in terms of what can be causing the hair to fall out, like there are multiple things that can cause it. Like it can be, for example, nutritional factors. It can be, for example, genetical factors or androgenic alopecia or high DHT sensitivity. But it can also be scalp problems, right? So, for example, if you are noticing that there is burning sensation, itching, or pimples, or like you can actually visually see that there is redness on the scalp, or other issues like a sebum, for example, yellow like a flakes on the scalp. All those things can weaken the follicles, and if you do need help with it, I'm a certified trichologist, and you can schedule a session below this video for it if you need help with this kind of problem. But basically, point here is to find out why you're losing the hair, right? What could be possible reason for it? And sometimes, like in my case, it was actually a combination of multiple factors that was causing the hair to fall out, right? It was not just androgenic alopecia, but it was also nutritional deficiencies. It was also a stress factor in my case. And that also does cause and affects the hair growth cycle and weakens the follicles, especially the combination of multiple factors. So first step is to find out why you actually are losing your hair. Next step is to find the best treatment for it. But before you actually look into the treatment for it, you have to also define what is your hair goal, right? Because there can be many goals we can have, right? For example, for some, it could be just stops the hair loss progression, especially if one is having hair loss that just recently has started. Maybe a goal is just to stop the progression. For some, it could be, for example, to thicken up the existing hair, right? So, for example, if someone has a, let's say, diffuse thinning because of nutritional factors or because of, let's say, stress-related or lifestyle-related problem and has diffuse thinning, maybe just thickening up that diffuse thinning, it can be enough to get to the point where one is actually happy with the hair situation. And of course, third possibility is to actually grow back the hair, right? So regrowth treatment for the hair loss. And basically what happened in my case, when I first started with addressing my hair loss, my goal was to stop the hair loss progression. And then basically what happened is that I was able to achieve it. And as time went by, I got other issues on my scalp and inflammatory problems and dermatitis. And you can check my other videos about what happened during that time. But basically, for me, it was couple of years with good results, and I was able to keep my hair until I got other issues that caused my hair to fall out. But basically, if your goal is to stop the hair loss progression, and let's say, for example, your hair loss is caused by a few factors, such as nutritional factor, for example, and deficiencies in some vitamins, such as vitamin D, for example, or, for example, minerals such as zinc or magnesium, for example, that can also affect and cause hair to fall out faster. And let's say there is also some androgenic alopecia problem, or high DHT sensitivity. Like basically, if you address those problems, then you likely can recover the hair, stop the hair loss progression, and possibly thicken up the hair a little bit, right? So that can actually work in that way. And the treatment for it, for example, if you have, let's say, genetical factors, then, for example, if it's early stages of the hair loss, then supplements such as salpmetto, pygium, nettles, pumpkin seed oil, for example, all are DHT blockers that can work in the early stages of hair loss if one is not too DHT sensitive. In my case, I do take finasteride, and one of the reasons was that I had a quite severe hair loss, and I had waited too long. I had waited so many years to actually address my hair loss, and because of it, my hair situation becomes so much worse, and I had to take a medication that is much more potent in terms of addressing the underlying problems such as DHT or mineralization of the follicles. And what happened is that basically I take 0.5 mg, and I know guys, for example, in my program or guys who are following my YouTube channel, they have been able to take even smaller amounts of finasteride. So for me, 0.5 mg works perfectly, and I have tried to take it higher, but it didn't make any difference in terms of my hair shedding. But for some, if they are not DHT sensitive or they take action very early, for example, of the hair loss cycle, then they are actually able to address this problem in much smaller amounts by microdosing, for example, finasteride. So that is a treatment that can work to stop the hair loss progression and keep the hair if there is no other variables that can cause the hair to fall out. Next possibility is, for example, if one wants to thicken up the hair. So, for example, if one wants to stop the hair loss progression and thicken up the existing hair, then, for example, adding things such as lasers, for example, laser helmet or laser comb, for example, can be an option. And I did use a laser comb myself back in 2008 or end of 2008 and in 2009. And basically what happened is that I had a Hair Max laser comb, like as old style. I will possibly find a picture for it and insert this video. But basically that was something I will do 3 times a week, and then I would take finasteride. I would improve my lifestyle, my diet, and basically that was kind of mild approach I was doing back in October, from October 2008 to around October 2010. And it did work well for me, and I was able to have a decent amount of the hair that was able to grow back, that had thickened up during that time. And when I started with growth stimulation in 2013, what I did is that I added minoxidil and I did add microneedling. And what happened by doing that kind of treatment, I actually was able to recover full set of hair by doing basically this kind of approach. Because what minoxidil does, it is a growth stimulant, and it is something that can be a game changer if one doesn't have scalp problems, if one is addressing and optimizing and avoiding factors that could be causing, for example, the hair to fall out, right? And minoxidil can work very well if it is done in correct context, right? So, for example, reason I was not able to start with minoxidil before was that I was having severe scalp problems from 2000 and end of 2010 to around end of 2012. And during those years, basically what happened is that my scalp would continuously burning, it would continuously be itchy, there would be a lot of sebum on my scalp, and those things basically made it impossible to apply topical formulations such as minoxidil, because it just would aggravate the problems. Because I did try it multiple times, and each time I did it, it caused more hair to fall out. So I decided that I had to address the scalp problems first that I was having before I could start with minoxidil, and luckily I actually did it in the right way. And what happened is that I was able to start with minoxidil, I was able to start with microneedling, and I was able to get awesome results by doing so. And even to this day, my hair at the age of 40 is still there. And over the years, I have spoken with so many guys, and also worked with so many guys in my program, for example, and some of them are in their late 40s, in their 50s, for example, and they still are concerned about the hair loss. So my point here is that you have to take action about your hair situation as soon as possible, right? Don't wait, don't deny it, don't hide it. If you are having hair loss, you basically have to do something about it. I mean, you can either schedule call Blob's video or get a hold in Rapid Rio formal workbook, which has all the steps you need to recover your hair, or you can basically troubleshoot yourself by checking my other videos and see what could be possible causes, what you can do about your hair situation, what can work for you, right? So those are basically options. But if you are concerned about your hair situation, don't wait. as I did, right? Because that's a wrong way to do it. Because the hair loss is progressive problem and it is something that does require attention. It does require continuously approaching it, because if you stop doing it, the hair situation will start to get worse again, right?